I'll move to payroll. Okay, so for payroll, because we have a lot to cover today, so keep going like that. Yeah, we are wanting to cover all the liabilities. Yeah, payroll is pretty easy. It's about paying salaries. Yeah, and I'll tell you to look at it in these three ways. Yeah, first of all, you're checking whether they've calculated the expenses. Let me put this way. So maybe let's call it amount. Let's look at the amount. Yeah, the calculation. We need to look at that. Have they calculated people's salary properly? Have they paid to staff? That's what you're auditing. Have they paid those staff truly? Remember, first of all, you're looking at accuracy. Have they calculated it properly? Yeah. Yeah. Now, have they even paid it? Yeah. Likewise, all of you know that when you are being paid salary, sometimes they deduct your pay, sometimes they deduct your pension and all of that, national insurance and all. Yeah. So as an auditor as well, you need to audit statutory deductions. So you want to check whether they've done all of that correctly. So when you are determining procedures, these are the three areas that your procedures must focus on when you are auditing payroll. Right. Yeah. And if you take this one for instance, how do you check for accuracy of payroll calculation? Your first procedure will be to obtain sample offer letter. Yeah, sample offer employment offer letter from the client. Obtains sample employment offer letter. On that offer letter, you will see how much the guy is meant to be paid, how many days is meant to work, what is its total number of hours or days is meant to work in a year that is entitled to be paid. All those details is on the employment offer letter. You will get it. So once you obtain it, why are you obtaining it? You need to trace to the system to be sure that they've accurately imputed those data into the system, because if you put wrong data in the system will recalculate rubbish, right? So obtain sample employment offer letter and trace to the system to check the details were accurately captured. Yeah. However, the fact that we've accurately captured the offer letter details into the system doesn't mean that the system will always do the right thing. There can be a bug in the system. Anything can happen to the system. Someone could have even gone into the system and tamper with the system. So we need to check that the system is truly working the way it should work. And that is why we need to do recalculation. So you're also going to recalculate the staff cost or payroll in line with the offer letter. Why? To check that the system calculation is accurate. So once you select a sample and you perform that, you can see whether what the system is doing is accurate. Once you do this too, you've checked this part. This one, you also need to be sure that they are not just calculating and not paying people. If they are owing their staff, there's a problem. So what you do, I've told you, anytime you see payment or you see receipt, it's all about bank statement. So you need to obtain the bank statement and trace sample payroll to the bank statement to ensure or to check that staff are truly paid. Yeah. And likewise, statutory calculations, statutory deductions, you need to estimate it. So you need to calculate or estimate statutory deductions like payee taxes and all of that. And ensure they have been promptly remitted. Very important to relevant agencies. So very important that you are able to pick payroll like this. So just three things. Think of the amount, think about payment to the staff, and think of statutory deductions. Yeah, once you see payroll like this, you would not struggle to come up with relevant procedures. And for accuracy alone, you are talking about whether the system has the right input. This is about the input, and this is about the process and output. So you are checking all of that with the system. Yeah. Then once you've checked of that, you are checking whether staff are truly paid. And likewise, statutory deductions are remitted promptly because that can create problem for the company. And that's it for payroll. We're moving gradually. Then we'll move to non-current liabilities now. Any questions? Remember, please speak if you have any question. Yeah, non-current liabilities. And here we'll look at loans and we'll look at provisions and contingent liabilities. Let's look at loans first because I've seen this a couple of times in question as well. Yeah, loans is just similar to your bank balance. The only difference is just that it's the opposite. Yeah, it's not your money, but you are owing the bank. Yeah. So how do you audit loans? Look at the movement schedule for loan. Always the opening, which is what the bank gave you. You're going to accrue interest on that opening balance that was disbursed to you. There will be interest expense, less repayment, and that will give you your closing loan balance. So anytime you are asked to audit loan balance, you must audit all of this. Yeah.
I have a question.
Please go ahead.
In regards to the amount of procedures that you have to link each procedure to a different assertion, or you can have many different procedures that only link to, say, accuracy. Can you have many procedures that just link to one assertion?
Fantastic. Good question. Yeah. So in practice, you should cover all assertions. In practice, when I say in practice, means in at work, right? But for exams, you don't have to do that. You just need to give different procedures. Even if the different procedures are addressing the same assertion, you will earn mark for it. Yeah, as they have. However, if the question specifically mentions assertion, which sometimes they do, they can say, give procedures on valuation of account receivable. Then you cannot give a procedure that addresses existence. You cannot give a procedure that addresses rights. You have to give procedures only that address valuation as an assertion. But if they don't specify the assertion, then you just have to give as much procedures. Nobody cares whether you are giving 3 procedures on accuracy or you are giving 4 procedures on valuation. They are different procedures and they are good procedures. You get mark for it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And a next question on assertions. Do we actually have to mention the assertion in the procedure, or it can be implied from the markers?
Okay. So the best approach, which I always advise, is to mention the assertion. Yeah, is compelling for the examiner to give you your full marks when you do that, especially because your assertion is the why. If you remember, Your why for the procedure is the assertion. That is what you are, the comfort that you are chasing by coming up with that procedure is the comfort on a particular assertion. So when you demonstrate your understanding of your procedure is when you are linking it to the assertion. Yeah, you see, sometimes we say for accuracy, sometimes we say for completeness. When you say for the system, so that you say whether it's accurate, it's already implied that you're talking of accuracy. However, it's not that it's compulsory. What is compulsory is that you must mention why you are doing what you are doing. So whether you mention it in form of assertion or you mention in form of sentence, you will be good. But if you can put the assertion there, it's even better.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. So for loans, this is the schedule that you are auditing. Your opening balance, I've always told you, you trace to the last year audited financial statement. For interest expense, what do you have to do? You have to obtain the loan agreement. Because in the loan agreement, interest expense is calculated as rate times principal. So you need to know the rate, and in this agreement you will find the rate. Even the principal is in this agreement, you will find it. So you have to obtain the tenor as well. Everything is in the agreement. So obtain the loan agreement and recompute. That's what you always have to do for expense. Recompute interest expense. Why? So in order to agree, let me put it properly. So obtain the loan agreement and recompute interest expense. Compare this with actual in the GL to ensure.
Sorry, Dial, what do you mean by recompute?
Recalculate.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Recalculate or recompute is the same thing. There's no material difference. Yeah. That's always what you do for your interest expenses. Either you are recomputing it or you are recalculating it. Right. And your recalculation is based on those information you have in the agreement. That's why you always have to obtain the agreement. And once you do that, you're fine for interest expense. Yeah. And for repayment is about payment. And this one as well is the same thing we always say, which is to trace to bank statement. You always trace to bank statement to get comfort on that. And that will be fine. 3 procedures already on your opening, on your interest expense, and on your repayment. Now let's go to the closing balance. Yeah, I don't have to rewrite those other ones to save you your time. Now, closing. The closing balance itself, we need to audit it. Yeah. And the first thing we need to ask for is to request for repayment schedule. So obtain, because the bank will always send a repayment schedule. For any of you that have, if you have loans, you will know that, yeah. The same way you get your bank statement, you get your loan statement. So obtain repayment schedule or bank statement. It's not only your bank balance you get bank statement for, your loan balance as well. The bank will send you your statement every month. Yeah. But once you obtain it, what are you doing with it? Agree balance to the GL in order to do what? To identify any material difference. Because you don't expect it to be different. I remember the way I'm writing, I'm not writing difference. I'm always putting material difference because in audit, those words are very important. A difference of $2 or $1 will not make me change my opinion. So it's not material to me. I'm not going to worry about it. So we only worry about material difference in audit. Yeah. So please take note. Right?
Sorry, can we
Yes.
use significance difference? Must it be material or significance difference?
Significant is also perfect. Significant difference. Yes. The same thing we are saying. So
Thank
you're
you.
good. Yeah. Likewise, another procedure you can do is to send a bank confirmation letter. The same way you send confirmation letter to customers, to suppliers, you can as well send to bank. Even remember when we're auditing cash and bank, the same procedure we did, send letter to the bank. This loan as well, yes, is a very good procedure to perform, right? Because when you send a letter to the bank, you get that assertion called obligation treated. You address obligation as an assertion. Because so send bank confirmation letter to the bank in order to confirm the amount. You see, this procedure will give you comfort on obligation and also on existence. Okay. What else can we do? Yeah, we can also request for the board approval because the bank, the company cannot just go and take loan from the bank without the board approval. That also affirms existence. So you can also obtain the board minutes or approval in order to confirm that the loan was duly approved. Let it not be that management just decided to go and collect money from the bank without necessary approval. So you need to get that as well. Yeah. Another thing you can do is to trace this opening balance. And if it was a loan that was given during the year, yeah, you should trace the disbursement, the bank statement. Disbursement of the initial principal. Just to be sure that truly they got a loan to the bank statement to confirm its origination. Ladies and gentlemen, the loan audit is not more than that. Not ever gonna be more than this.